So, today, we got something to talk about today because something has changed. Just a small little thing that some of you might not even notice, but for me, it's everything. So, if you've seen the live announcement already, you'll know what it is. We're scrapping Parallax Mapping, and I've got some really good reasons why we're going to be scrapping it. Because the biggest one is the fact that Parallax Mapping, let me just summarise that because it's a little bit of a technical term, but it's basically PNG images of maps of our game that go in the background, and that they were another option to use making this game other than tile sets. Now, tile sets are super easy and like to do, and they're great because they don't take up too much memory. And Parallax Mapping, it's the opposite. It can take up a humongous amount of memory. So you have to like have small images to stop. Like if you had like one big huge map, there'd be problems. So you have to kind of break your maps up into little chunks to sort of avoid the lag that you'd get otherwise. And that's kind of how we've been doing our mapping in Raindrop Chronicles since about stream number 20 something, because we originally started doing simple tile sets within the RPG Maker editor, and then I was like not satisfied. I was like, this is limited, you can't put many layers on top of each other, and it was just very frustrating. So I was like, yeah, we'll switch to using PNG images as our maps because there's more flexibility. We can make it super pretty and customized and look different and more painterly and stuff than tiles, and it was great, and we got some really good maps. But there's a few reasons why we're going to switch in, but I say that, but everything's going to look the same. Even though we're getting rid of Parallax Mapping, I intend for our maps to still look the same, obviously with might just improve a few little graphical problems that I've noticed when looking at our maps lately. I'm like, that's a flaw, we'll get rid of that. So that's something we're going to do. We're going to improve some little parts of our map, but really it's not I could go on forever for why I don't want to do Parallax Mapping anymore. I could write a list that long, in all honesty. We'll talk about it throughout the stream. And hi Kindled, how you doing? It's good to see you. I hope you're having a good rest and taking care of yourself. Let's just have a quick look at our Lore Bible quickly. So I've added this to our Lore Bible. I've had a currently working on section now. Just so we can keep track of what we're actually doing right now, rather than just have all these lumps of different tasks for the month. It can be quite overwhelming to look at that. So we got a currently working on section. I'll give you guys our Trello page so we can have a little peep. Yes, so obviously last stream we was doing the Lore Bible business. We've been working on, where is it? Every single character listed here is going to have their own written profile on the Lore Bible, and the ones that have got this arrow symbol with profile transferred over to Lore Bible, that means they're done. So we've done those characters. And I'm going to be working on them bit by bit. I'm not going to like do them all in one go because it can get a bit monotonous. So I'm going to give myself a week or two to finish getting the rest of you guys in. And it will gradually get them there and get them done. So that's the first task that we've been doing. And we also have a command for our Lore Bible as well, guys, if you want to have a look at the ones we got so far. These past few days have been rough. I'm waning off some medicine and I've been in lots of pain the past few days. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't even know, because that sucks. I just hope that it goes as fast as possible and it's a distant memory kindled as soon as possible. But I guess, yeah. I'll just send you my hugs kindled. That's all I can say. It's just one of those sucky situations. We got a hug emoji. Oh yeah, I've got a few hug emojis actually. There we go. Hugs for Kindled. To get better soon. Hi Stretch, how are you doing? It's good to see you again. Thanks for stopping by. How are you today? Hope you're doing well. So yes, that's one of the tasks, but we've got another task to do, which was originally popped in here because it was one of the tasks to do before we start adding the new content, but I've kind of made this the priority for now because it's a nice chill thing to do, to just work on the mapping, and also because of the whole parallax mapping thing in general. I haven't been too happy with it with the recent discoveries when test playing the game. It's been occupying my time to figure out how to deal with some of the mapping issues that have been happening, but I can say gladly that we have a solution now, and I'm very, very excited and happy. And Raidu, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, subscribe for 3 months on a 3-month streak. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that, Raidu. Let's have some hyping chat for that. Awesome. Sub, and I hope you're doing well today, Raidu. And thank you, Azrael, for the hype. I'm good, cheers. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Also, Raidu, I did notice you don't have the blood drop role in the Discord, which blood drop is for our subs, by the way, guys, just so you know. I don't know if you can see it right now, but here we go. They're all there, the pink ones. It's the pink ones. So all you have to do today, it's really easy. You just have to click the cog user settings here that I'm hovering over now, and there's a side menu, and one of them is connections, and if you click on connections, you just have to like press on, I think, for our Discord. Make sure you're properly connected to it, and then it should sync you and give you a pink blood drop roll. I don't even know if Ray2 is here right now because he might be work lurking, but I'll send him a message later just so he knows on the Discord. If not, Chub Cheeks, oh my god, you guys today with all these subs, look at all the hype in chat as well. My goodness, thank you. Chub, another giant amount of months. I don't know what to say other than thank you, because it goes a long way for me. You know, that little bit of support as somebody that doesn't have another job, you know. It helps. It helps me save up a bit and, you know, make sure the stream's up to scratch if necessary, if we have to get any equipment and things. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for the hype again, Azrael. Okay, guys, so how are you today, Chub, anyway? Look at your badass wings now. It's pretty cool seeing your character like that on the screen now. Okay, guys, so yeah, so we're gonna, today on stream, we're gonna not do the actual character lore Bible stuff today. I kind of want to break from that today, but I'll be doing another few bios off stream over the next couple of days, and so you'll probably see another couple come up, but we're going to do some mapping today. So we're changing things. We're removing parallax mapping, so it means we have to redo the maps we've already got with our new method, and I'm not going to lie, it's going to be time consuming as hell, and it'll probably take about a week or maybe a little bit more than that to do, maybe a week or two to catch up, but in the long run it's going to be, it's going to make our game way better, and I'm going to explain why it's going to make it better as we do this mapping today. The biggest issue with parallax mapping, the biggest problem, is the memory it takes up, but that was fine for our game. I did plenty of test plays and there wasn't any issues or lag because we broke everything up into small squares. That was my way of, you know, making sure that we didn't have any memory issues or lag with our parallax mapping. It's because it's a huge PNG file and the game has to load up that every time you go on a new screen, whereas tiles are wonderful because they just don't take up the memory. But yeah, the tiles were very limited. In RPG Maker they're limited anyway. We're going to be switching back to tile sets though, but not in RPG Maker. We've got another program that allows unlimited layers and way more flexibility, and it's beautiful. because we won't have memory problems, and we'll get to still have the Everbloom and Lakeful Forest maps look exactly as they still do now, with all the flowers and the vines. And tile sets are just way easier to edit. The problem is with Parallax maps, the PNG files, they can be quite a bit, time consuming to update if there is ever anything you need to change. It's generally a lot easier to make a map in a tile set editor than it is in Photoshop, which is how the program we did our maps in. But I still haven't said the main reason that we're switching yet from Parallax maps to tiles again. The main reason, yeah, you've done it. Yeah, I wondered if you heard. GG, I'm glad. Thought I'd let you know because I noticed, and always want to make sure everybody knows these things. So I've got to get the program up that we're using now to do this. But there was a particular thing that provoked me to finally make the switch, which we're gonna talk about that. Okay, so it's another browser source, I think, or no, it's a window capture, not a browser source that I need for this program. So it's called TileD, the program is, and it's a tile set editor, but way better than RPG Maker. RPG Maker's tile set creator is very, very limited, and I would never use it because we'd have very limited maps and flexibility with them otherwise. Okay, so I've got to just give me a minute, guys, because we need to. I've just realised I've got rid of my. Okay, I've completely messed up our stream. Where is our overlay gone? Here it is. There we go, back to normal. So we gotta just make this smaller. There we go. There we go. Right, so main reason why we're switching from Parallax Map to Tiny is because those little small maps that I mentioned that we had to do, we had to have these tiny little rectangles. Everbloom Forest was broken down into 6 pieces because that was the way of handling parallax mapping. You can't have a big, if you had like a huge image of a map, it would crash. The game wouldn't even load. So I didn't like it. I didn't like the small rectangular images for the mapping, because when you play the game, it kind of, to me, in my opinion, was very disruptive when you'd switch screens, like the whole black fade out thing. So often kind of broke, to me, the immersion of that I want to create of the vision for travelling in Raindrop Chronicles. I wanted Everbloom Forest and Lakeful to be one big map. That is what I was thinking, but of course it wasn't going to be possible to do that using parallax mapping. So that is why we're going back to tiles, because there won't be any problems at all having a big map and using tiles. Of course, we have to be careful with events, parallel process events, because too many of those running can cause issues too. But as long as you manage it all properly and turn them on and off when they need to, then it shouldn't be a problem either. Hi Van, how you doing? It's so good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. So now, let's get it up. Everbloom, Forest and Lakefall are going to be all stuck together as they should, instead of broken down into pieces. And that means when playing the game, it'll be like a seamless world now. We won't have the whole fade in and fade out with every single little rectangle screen switch. I'm excited because, God, this is going to make a lot of difference, and it feels like 3 steps back having to redo the mapping process, but you gotta do it, haven't you, if you want to have a better looking and better experience in your game. And so as these little black and white squares, these are literally the size of the maps in RPG Maker, how they were before with our mapping, and I've kind of just put our maps on them to show you what they look like if pieced together, and that's where they are on the big map. So it fills out about not quite half of it. Feels about a third out, probably. I can't tell. There's 7 squares filled out of like 24 squares, I think. So yeah. So there's an option for us to like eventually fill in, obviously, up here. And I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to fill down here because it's all basically cliff. But it's nicer having a big, more open, seamless world. And of course, we've got to be careful here because we've got open grass, and I despise invisible walls. So that'll need to be kind of have some kind of lake there or cliffs to kind of show that you can't walk there. We've got a little bit of extra space to work on that if we want to do that. But basically anywhere that looks like you can walk there needs to lead somewhere. If there's a cliff and stuff, that's kind of how you block the edges off, or water. That's kind of going to be how I'm going to do it. That's how I see it. So, trying to get my day started. Ooh, gotta start with a coffee, if you like coffee, of course. One Wing, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So wait, time met. This is a confusing time because Parallax usually means a technique for depth, but TileD is an editor. Explain more, Met, because I can totally answer the question. But what do you feel Parallax Mapping would do that TileD wouldn't? And I'll explain what the solution will be, because it's these maps. This is just the image of the PNGs, by the way. This isn't how it looks in TileD right now. I'll tell you that. I'm not that much of a wizard. I'm not going to get Everbloom Forest up in TileD that quick. So far, all we have is this. I've been working on it, guys. So that's the goal. We're going to get this looking like that. Which, yeah, that's what it says it'll take another week or 2 to do. And why we're going to restart it now. But it's going to be worth it. Like, absolutely. It's that much better this way that I just feel excited just seeing it all get built up again. Because I just, I mean, it might fit fine for some people, Parallax Mapping in their games, but it's not going to work for Raindrop Chronicles and the big world that we're going to be creating. It would just, it was too clunky for me. Tile sets are going to allow us to have a more open and larger world, because we would no way be able to. You see this big grid sort of like template I've added in here. If we filled in every single square, made that all forest, say, by the end of episode 1, it would it would just crash as a big parallax map, let's face it. So we have to use tiles, but TileD, I'm just very glad that people out there have made this possible with RPG Maker games, because if it didn't exist, we'd be left with the RPG Maker editor for tiles, and we would not get this beautiful map replicated at all, anywhere close. So I mean, we'd try and we'd get some of it, but we wouldn't get the flowers as chaotic as they are, or the vines on the cliffs or anything like that. So I've already changed the cliffs, guys. They look nicer now compared to how they used to look. So we sorted out some little visual glitches there, because I noticed with our cliffs, and I'd noticed this for a while, they were very, like, some of the tiles, you could tell they were tiled cliffs. They weren't seamless. There was like a big line at some points through the cliffs, and that all needed a big edit anyway, and to edit the parallax map would have been very, very draining and time consuming to do, because it was all, but with tiles, all you have to do is edit the tile file and it's done. Voila, it's done then. Hi Nightmare, how you doing? You've got a lot of work ahead of you here. You think this is work? This is nothing compared to what I do. Guys, just real talk here for a sec. If you want to make a good game, you gotta put in the work. If you want to take shortcuts and think that'll do, I can't be bothered, or just, yeah, that's fine. If you want to make a quick game, that's okay. No judgment. But if you actually care about the presentation and want to make something special, you're gonna have to put in the work. So it doesn't bother me, because I would rather make a good game than rush something and just have it be mediocre. So it gives me a lot of pleasure to do that. I don't see it as work. So wait, why are you changing the map? Oh, it's not changing. It's going to look the same. There might be a few graphical improvements compared to the old parallax map image we had. They'll be like say some of the little glitches we had in the cliffs will look better. But how it's going to look, how it looks visually, there's going to be very little change. It's going to just be converted from PNG images to tiles is just the main difference here, which is essential. Otherwise, the game, I'll be honest now, the game as it is with parallax map PNG images, I wouldn't want to release it, not even a first playable build. That's how serious it is and what it needs to be done. Because it's not a pleasure for me to play, to go through as parallax maps. I'm just a fuss pot. I've got high expectations with how I want the world to be. Oh yeah, those cliffs, they look a lot better. Yeah, this is how they look. I mean, let's just zoom in. That's how they looked before. This is how they look now. So there's not much difference. It's still the same colour, and it's still a very similar pattern. They're just a little bit more seamless, because there's a few little tiny parts that look like, can you see if we go in super close? You can tell there's a line there where the edge of the tile sort of thing, and that's not seamless. So this cliff is just a lot more attractive because it's seamless all over, and there's no weird lines like that. And of course you have to look super close to see these things, but if you want to be particular about it, you're gonna have to, aren't you? Okay, I just don't know how they're comparable, even mutually exclusive things, like if the effect is still to have layers scroll differently. It's still parallax mapping, just handled under the hood by the editor. Hang on, let me try and type that in, because I'm a little bit confused myself reading that. How they're comparable. Well, that's it was the technique we used, parallax mapping is what we did before, and this is what we're doing now. So it's just a change of how we're doing things. I mean, I've probably totally missed what you're trying to say, but it isn't parallax mapping. It'll be tiled, because this program TileD, I mean, it's I found it on the RPG Maker forums. It's been programmed in a way by people in the RPG community, a couple of them, where they take the file that's saved, the JSON file or whatever it's called. It takes this whole file and converts it into a tile set. I think that's kind of how it works. I'm not the most technical, but that's kind of how I saw it. It takes this and turns it into tiles. It's not a parallax map at all, because we're separating ourselves away from parallax mapping now. I've been wanting to go back to TileD for a while, and that was the plan. But that I just wasn't willing to do it in the RPG Maker editor, so I was like, we'll just put up with parallax mapping then. I kind of had that attitude. We'll just settle for parallax mapping, but I was never truly happy. And just doing test plays and travelling from rectangle to rectangle was very... I didn't like it. I wasn't satisfied. So I'm much more happier with the big, large open map now. Okay, so wait, the tiles are in what format? Nope, they're JSON files. It is, honestly guys, I'm not going to do this whole thing if it's going to just give us another PNG file, because that would defeat the whole point of redesigning all this. This is going to be turned into a tile set. I'll just make that clear. It's going to be turned into a tile set. So we've already got it. Let's open RPG Maker, because I was doing a test play earlier of what we got so far. Because the goal is to have one large seamless map now rather than small little chunks of rectangles, and we just couldn't, it wouldn't be possible to use a big PNG file for that. I tested it out of curiosity and it crashed the whole system. Tiles are beautiful because you know they're just so small in file size, so they just don't have that issue. Right, so RPG Maker, where are you hiding? Here it is. So I've actually created a blank project for testing purposes for this, so we don't interfere with our other one. This is the big map. Now, the one drawback with TileD is that you actually don't see the map in the RPG Maker editor, but it is there when you do test plays. So I'd probably get around that, because obviously it's always very handy to actually see the map for placing events. I'll probably just use tiles or something to kind of do rough little landmark sketches so we know where to place our events eventually. But when the game loads, we will see exactly what is in our TileD map JSON file. So we've got Lake 4 here, as you can see. That's where I've teleported ourselves, and everything at the moment is just grass and cliffs that aren't properly designed. Just the quick cliff squares and where the cliffs are going to be positioned. And of course we got to do the region blocking thing, so we can't walk all over the mountains, but that's handled in a certain way in TileD as well, so that will be done last. We'll get all the mapping first. But it'll allow us, when everything's in, to literally just walk wherever we want to walk without the whole hassle of switching from screen to screen. And now, this is just an honestly visual preference. There's nothing wrong with games that have fade outs between small sections. And that Final Fantasy did it. All the cool RPGs did it, but I kind of just want to go a bit step further with Raindrop Chronicles, so I like the feel of it being a little bit more seamless, personally. Okay, so we will cross that off for now. But yeah, it can freak some people out seeing something be redone. I get that, because you think, oh, all that hard work and you've got to do all this. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of work. I can get it, because it is. There's no denying that it's work, but you got to do it if you want to have something good. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Okay. It gives you one image file with all tiles just once in it, multiple image files with one or more tiles in each, or an image per file tile and a meta file that says which tiles from what image files go where to make a map usually. Oh, Nightmare knows. Yeah, I don't understand the technical side of how it works as much. I just kind of simplify and be like, oh, it just turns into tiles. I'm going to actually read that because I actually want to know properly. Yeah, I'm still a bit confuzzled, but you know, all the tiles are here anyway, so. Okay, so this, I'm not lying, it's going to be a big job. It's going to take a bit of time, and we're going to be switching between getting this mapping back, like getting it all done, and also our law Bible. So these are the two main tasks for now. I'm really not happy continuing with the game and working on any of this stuff here until this is done. I'm just not satisfied. It feels a bit broken to me, so I want to get this done first, and then we can go back to doing the rest of our tasks here. Okay, so cliffs, that is one job to do. I've already like set up all the paths, because in Tiled you can't just put paths down however you like. That is one little slightly harder thing about Tiled compared to the RPG Maker editor. So you have to like set it all out like this. I mean, there is a way to do it, but it's too confusing for me because it involves changing the size of the tiles, and I don't want to do that. So right, so here we go. So it's honestly, they're all just squares at the moment, so we can round these cliffs up now and make them look nice, so just like we have for these ones here. And we're going to do it to all of them. So we got, this is all our 6 Everbloom Forest maps that we got the cliffs part for here. I did that last night. This TileD, I only just downloaded it yesterday afternoon. It's been something I've been researching about for the last like 3 weeks or so. The first idea was to keep with the parallax mapping, but have an instant fade between scenes rather than a fade to black, but it didn't work because it still has to load the large map, so it's just impossible to have seamless parallax mapping. There's still always a little stutter between fades, even ones that are instant transfers to other scenes. So I tested that for about a week and realised it wasn't gonna work, so eventually I was like, yes, I found out about this little program and I thought we'll give this a go. I just looked up a visual example. Ooh, yeah, it's always handy to know these things. Or adding more tile types though. If tiles look partially not walkable, they can only be either or. But ultimately, this little program's great because you can have unlimited tiles. In RPG Maker, some of you might have remembered me doing some of the tile stuff when we made our farm. Because we started off with the tiles and we sort of took a screenshot and it made it all pretty and added extra stuff on top in Photoshop to make our parallax map. That's how we did it. But it was a pain using the RPG Maker editor, because you're limited to like 2 layers before things start disappearing when you put things on top of each other. So for example, it would have been impossible to put the flowers or vines on the cliffs without the cliffs disappearing, if that makes sense. So this way it works like Photoshop in the fact that you can have unlimited layers of things on top of each other. What little program are you using now? It's called TileD. That's it. So feel free to have a look into it. I think they've done something different to MZ to make this easier with layers. Yeah, I am very glad to hear that they've done that, because in all honesty, it was something that was a flaw with MV, for sure. Okay. It's very difficult to make a nice detailed map when it's that limited. Okay, so cliffs layer. Now, some people wouldn't have the patience to do what I'm doing, so I think, screw this, it's going to take forever. But honestly, I just think, why is it that much of a chore? Like, I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of it and see it all come to life again, but in another format, another way. So I've put the map of, let's put that over the top actually, because I like to compare. Yeah, so this is how we can do the corners. And yeah, when we get to other regions and make more maps, it's going to just be way more, it's going to just be so much better than the way we already had it. So I see it like it's one of those things that will make things better in the long run. It'll hold you back temporarily as you have to redo it, but then what you think of the future and you think it'll be much easier. I'm thinking I'll pre-order MZ. Cool. Are you gonna be doing your game in there? Because I know that you've got your eyes set on starting a game, man. Tiling for Game Boy games is especially fun because you're limited about how many unique tile types can fit in an accessible memory, and as such can be used on the screen at the same time. Yeah, that'd be like a little puzzle in a way. But I'm glad that we have it unlimited, because yes, it's just easier. So I'm kind of seeing the way of doing this is that we'll work on cliffs first. And we'll do paths. We'll do like a sort of visual section thing at a time. So cliffs, then paths, then something else. We'll say. Well, I think cliffs and paths are the most essential thing to get in first. I don't think I've done this. Let me just think a minute, because I obviously want this to be the same or as close as possible to how Lakefall originally looks. And I see that what's happened is, I don't know what's happened here, but why has it gone off? I'm going to just take us back a step, because the path, as you can see, isn't in line with the templates, so something went wrong there. Because when I opened up this, it was all perfectly in place. Right, because we'll mess up if we don't get this right. And I think that means the cliffs have gone a bit off too. So let's get them as they should be before we start. And I'm still getting used to this program, by the way, so I'm not gonna like be doing things super quick, because I only just downloaded it yesterday. There's a learning curve in this, just as there is in any program. Okay, okay, they're back where they should be, thank goodness. I was like, yeah, why are the cliffs not in position? And that explains why. There we go. Hello, where are you from? Hi, Ma. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm from England. How are you? It's good to meet you. So the cool thing about this, guys, one cool thing about watching me do this is you get to see how Fallen Everbloom Forest got built, because you know, some of you didn't see the process, so you get to actually see it all like come back to life again. I don't need to check the Parallax map every 5 seconds. I'll check it at the end. So. But I'm super, I'm much more fond of these cliffs compared to what they were like before. Like, it's a very slight difference, but just much nicer. It'll be even more noticeable when we edit the Everbloom Forest, because I feel the parts where it was very cliffy, it was even more noticeable, the visual glitches in the cliffs. Okay, now the corners. Now, I don't know if that's meant to look like that. Yeah, that is, we'll fix this bit. Oh, interesting. Okay, so now we've edited the cliffs, obviously there's differs from before, and I've noticed that there's a little green gap, so we can fix those little things in Photoshop. And tiles, again, this isn't an example why tiles are easier than images, because if this was our PNG file and we saw this, we'd have to edit every single gap manually that we see on the whole of the thing. But with tiles, we can like literally just open up the tile set file and just fill it in there, and then it does it for everything. So just better. Okay, so this is where our cliff is. Now, I think, let me just have a look to try and work out the bit that we need to edit. Yeah, I believe it's this particular line here. So asking because of distinct accent. I know, right? I've got a very unique accent, me. But yeah, some people don't realise I'm from England. I think I have like a strong sort of British accent, but some people have thought I'm Australian. Others have thought that I'm, believe it or not, French, which I do not understand. Okay, so now we filled that in, we won't get the weird green line, and we'll also do it on this side too. So literally all we need to do is press save, and it'll update automatically. It's already filled in for us. And now I'm still learning this program, but I'm already very comfortable with it, like how it makes things easy for you in certain things. And the good thing is, like, literally all you have to do is save the file, and once you test play in Photoshop, it's all there. Like, there's no complicated process to put the updated. Yeah, I've turned the music off good, because sometimes it comes in full blast. There's nothing complicated to update everything. Those cliffs we just put in are there now, so. Okay, one sec, I'm just turning off a few unnecessary programs I've got open, because I don't want to make my computer go crazy. Because now that we're using TileD, we have another program open. We got that open, we got Photoshop open. In fact, I think we can close Photoshop. And we'll only open when we necessarily have to edit things. Pardon me, I do a bump. Chub Cheeks looks a whole lot cooler with wigs. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He looks proper intimidating. He creates way more of an impression. One thing I wanted to, I mean, I'll have to ask Chub Cheeks himself about this, but I was thinking we could always like extend the mask out a bit where the reptile's nose is. Just to show he's more of a reptile, because we got to think from the point of view of reptiles. They're not going to have a human mask, a human helmet on their head, are they? They're going to have a reptile mask on. And it's squash his poor little nose, that one would, because when we look at his profile compared to Rex's character's nose kind of comes out a bit, and Chubb's would do the same, obviously, if he didn't have the mask on. So I think we could always extend that part of the helmet so it looks like a reptile helm. Thank you, Fabled, for that follow. I appreciate that. How are you doing today? Welcome. And Kia, thank you for that host, by the way. How are you? How are things going? Okay, so let's do it. So first task, right, where is TileD? Why is it crossed off? There we go. Right, so we're going to be doing the cliffs again, guys. So if you want to learn some mapping techniques, this is, you've been curious how Late Fall and Everbloom Forest have been formed into what they are now. These are the streams to watch, because we'll be doing this for a little bit until it's done. I mean, I'll be doing some of it off stream because it'll be a time-consuming job, but we'll mix and match between doing this and the Lore Bible stuff, and it will feel a lot nicer to actually go back to what we was doing once we've got this all redone. And again, guys, as a summary, if anyone's just come in and are curious why we're doing the mapping all over again, it's because we're going back to tiles from Parallax Mapping, but we're not doing it in the RPG Maker editor, we're doing it in TileD because it's better. We can get everything looking as we wanted it to. My goal is to get, if I can get this to look the same as the Parallax map did, I will be over the moon. That's kind of the goal, because the thought of getting that look replicated in tiles is kind of like an impossible thought. It would have been impossible to do in RPG Maker anyway. So if I can achieve that, I feel like, yeah, no, that's fab. Now, why is this tile not positioned properly? Interesting. And I think what's happened is, I mean, I know what's happened. It's shifted again, the cliffs. I've got to lock that layer. I wonder if it's, when it's locked, if I can edit it though, that's the thing. Well, actually, the cliffs look like they're fine, like they haven't shifted. Has the map shifted? Very strange. Yeah, there's going to be little things like this one. I'm still trying to understand the program. Let's look at the grid. Let's get the grid up, because it was fine before. It let us place our cliffs exactly how we wanted them. So my first thought was that everything shifted. Yep, everything has shifted. That's what's happened. Yeah, we need to keep these locked. I just don't know if they're editable while not, but we'll soon find out. So I don't want to undo, because then it'll undo the cliffs we've done. But we saved, so we're fine. Okay, that was the last thing we did. We're gonna have to manually move them, and I'm gonna forever keep them locked from now on, so that this doesn't keep happening. Okay. Now, lock the parallax map. Lock the paths and the ground. When you start building up those layers, it becomes very easy to mess up if you don't lock them. There we go, everything's as it should be. Now, if we can edit them while they're locked, that'll be great. We'll soon find out. So everything's locked now, so we won't get that problem ever again, hopefully. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, there's a red square, so that means it can't be edited, unfortunately. I wonder if there's a way. As long as, I think it doesn't matter if the one we're working on is unlocked, as long as the others are. That's all we need to make sure of. Now hide that parallax map because it gets confusing if we've got that up there while we're doing this. And I actually prefer not looking at the grid because it can be very distracting seeing it as it should when the grid's there. There we go. Oh no, we forgot that bit in this corner. It's so funny because looking at the original Parallax maps, I'm not joking, there was like about 50 corners that weren't filled in. I noticed on not like for all the Everbloom Forest, all the maps that we've done, there was about, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be so time consuming to like fill in every single corner on a Parallax map. But on tiles, it's just, oh, it's a breath of fresh air in comparison. I almost feel like a weight off my shoulders, and I'm going to be doing it this way instead from now on. Because it was very daunting to edit those Parallax maps. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun thought. Hi, no, it's not. I actually have got this command because I knew that folks would come in thinking that. So there you go. And welcome to the Stream Orchestra. I'm good. I have MZ pre-ordered. Is it MZ or MZ, guys? Although this cliff is sort of mine, I guess, because I did make an edit to it, like compared to the other cliff, which was I forgot the artist that did the original cliff now, but this is a like recolouring of this one, and it took a bit of time to get it done, so it isn't entirely mine, but it's an edit. Because this colour didn't exist originally. They only had it in that colour. But I like this brown because it's closer to our original. I think it looks nice. Okay, so I think we've done all the lake full cliffs now. Let's just make sure we'll zoom in and yeah. So as you can see, there's so much detail on this finalised map that we got to make it look like, but one step at a time, right guys? I'm seeing it split it into days, paths and cliffs today, and then we can start thinking like water the next day, and trees. The trees will be the easiest bit. And then finally the extra details like the little floral bits and the rocks in the wall and the vines, that'll all be the last job. Fantasia, how are you doing? It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for that sub. 34 months, another giant amount of months coming in. I appreciate that long time of support, my friend. Let's have some hype in chat. And I have noticed that the sub notification that we've got now of Woody, it only has subscribed on there. It needs to be changed to show off the months as well for you guys. I'm horrible for them. No, you're not, guys. You've all got lives, you know. So as much as I adore hanging out with you, I respect and appreciate that sometimes you gotta do your own thing. Me of all people understand that because I'm always preoccupied with my stuff. So And I'll have to redo stuff, but I had plans to do that anyway. Plugins def won't be comparable. Yeah, and when it comes to game dev, you're always going to be redoing things. You'll always look at something and think, this actually will be better this way. And only experience makes you realise these things, because sometimes something what you did a year ago that you thought was a good idea at the time, you get wise to it and think, well, actually it wasn't as good as it seemed at first. So you're kind of dreaming. Well, anyone who thinks they can not change things, they're dreaming a little bit. I mean, of course, nobody's expected to change things with their games, but if you want a polished product, you know. So I hope your stuff goes well, Kia, when you redo. What sort of things are you going to be redoing? Yay, thank you for the hype. Oh, Rose Rainbow, I got an affiliate welcome email yesterday. Oh, that's fabulous. It's always fun to reach affiliate because, you know, you can have emotes finally, can't you? That's a big thing. Okay, so what happened to our cliff there? There we go. See, you're not going to ever do mapping and there's not going to be something wrong that you forgot to do. I could have easily missed that, you know, and then months down the line, I'm like, oh. And then when it's a parallax map, it takes blooming forever to edit. Whereas in tiles, you just do that, voila. Oh my goodness, it feels so relieved that I'm doing tiles. I couldn't do tiles in RPG Maker. I just wouldn't have been able to, because we wouldn't have been able to be as ambitious with our mapping. And that's why I was just sticking to the parallax. But whoever made TileD, I mean, the people are, I do have their names on a list somewhere. I need to remind myself, whoever they are, they're heroes. So I'm going to say they've made all my dreams come true with this program. I mean, I might be getting ahead of myself. I might do all this and then find out there's something flawed with it deeply and be like, oh crap, another problem. But right now it feels like a dream come true anyway. Okay, so we're going to move to the cliffs for the Everbloom Forest now, because we've got a big bunch of cliffs here to do. So they're all just boring squares right now, so let's make them pretty. Now let's just have a look at how they're meant to be. A quick glance. Let's put the parallax map above the cliffs. It's not allowing me. That, oh no, that's the ground. There we go. If we do it that way, that's easier. So it's a lot easier to sort of overlay and compare with the parallax map above the cliffs. Okay, so basically the rule is, I'm going to try and see this as a sort of thing so I don't have to keep checking. Wherever there's a corner, fill it in with a corner. And wherever there's an edge thing like that, but where a corner is, then do that. Okay, I got it. Let's get good cliffs. It's pretty easy to zoom in as well on this program. Oh yeah, I'm always thinking of everything, always thinking of ways to improve and what to add. Yeah, I'm always one to think of what to improve before adding things, simply because I wouldn't want to find myself in a position where I've added a load of stuff and then it all needs improving, because then that can get overwhelmed. But once all the stuff that's already done is awesome, then that's when I think about adding things. And that's why on our Trello page we don't, I mean, I've crossed Trello off now, but on our Trello page I've got it so we're not adding new content to the game until all the stuff we've already done is smoothed and 100% perfected. Because we'll find ourselves in a messy situation where we've added new content and then all that needs improving as well as the old stuff. And then it's like, you know, it's like, oh god, very daunting. Alright, so should we do corners for everything first? I feel like we do it like that. It's probably going to be a bit easier to manage. So every corner that looks like this on the whole map. We might miss a few though, because you always do. Well, I always do, should I say. But it's nice to have the feeling that if you do miss something, doing it on this little program, it's not punishing, and you don't feel like if you miss something, it'll take forever to fix. So yeah, if anyone, I mean, I definitely recommend anyone who is making an RPG Maker game to look into this program if you are curious. If, like, say you're one of those people who don't like Parallax Mapping for its many flaws, but also aren't the biggest fan of the RPG Maker editor either because of its limitations. I might need the tinkle potty soon because I'm actually holding it in. I have so much water, but it happens. I'm the Red Rainblood at the US Midwest. You could say, well, I'll say I'm very honoured that you want to compare yourself to me. You know, if anybody if anybody wants to compare, like, you know, that's a good thing, I guess. Now, if there was like, I don't want to be Rose, then I'd be like, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I probably missed a ton of corners. Not really been paying much attention to where I've been and where I haven't been on this map. And let's remember that making like Falling Everbloom Forest took us blooming forever, because it does take a while when you want to create something cool. But what took us so long was figuring out what the design should be. So it is easier to already have it there and trace it, if you know what I mean, because I suppose I am sort of tracing it. Now, have we done all the left side cliffs? Maybe not. We'll move to the top now. Interesting. Now, this is another thing to think about, because we obviously don't want the green corner. So what I'm thinking of doing here, obviously in our other version, it's, you see the mountain, not the green corner. So I'm going to open Photoshop again, and I'm going to delete that green corner, because I don't think we need it really. I don't think the green corner even needs to be there. I don't think it benefits at all. So I will just delete it and have it as transparent in the background. I find doing this sort of thing, like the mapping, very relaxing and chill to do. And it's a nice break from scripting and scene work. Okay, so we obviously don't want to delete this bit up here. I mean, we could, but we don't know what we're going to need that for just yet, so. So what I'll do is let's do that so that we've. No, we should be able to grab it with the magic. Oh, it still grabs it. Maybe if we lower the tolerance. Because I'm not comfortable going around this with the brush. I'd rather just grab it, the pixels with the magic wand, but it's. Let's do this. No, it's definitely not going to grab it now if we do that. Huzzah. I don't want to delete all those one at a time, so. But now that solves a problem that we have with the weird grass corner appearing. That we do when we don't want it to. Because we don't want that, do we? So there we go. Save that now. And that means it should have updated. Well, it hasn't for some reason. Usually it updates straight away. It's still got the green, but even though it shouldn't. Now, I've got a theory for why it's doing this, but one sec, we can do that in a minute. Yeah. I know why it's doing it. It's because there's grass underneath and it's overwriting the cliff. Because if we delete those, if we hide those cliffs, you can see the grass, right? Because there's like, we've just got like a big layer of grass ground. So yeah, it deletes the brown cliff bit, and that's why we can see that there. So I've got a solution for this. We just put the cliff back there. We'll do these on another layer. These cliffs, we've got no choice. So this is another reason why the RPG Maker editor would have been a bit of a pain in the butt for us. So I'll call it cliff corners, this. Because we wouldn't have been able to do something like this in RPG Maker, I don't think, without it messing up. It's very hard to layer things in RPG Maker. So what we're gonna have to do if we do this first, we'll put them in position first, and then we can put the brown in the background on the other layer after. I'll do all the corners first. I feel like the cliff is one of the biggest jobs because there's so many cliffs in Everbloom Forest. And the next biggest job will probably be the flowers, for sure. But we'll be doing the flowers a little bit differently because obviously we're using tile sets now, so we can't just put them anywhere we like. What I'll probably do is arrange different clusters like different cluster patterns to give the illusion that they're spread around, you know. And the cluster patterns, I'm not going to do them the exact same as what they are here, because it's going to be ridiculously time consuming if I copy it the exact same. I'm going to just cluster them in a different way. But it shouldn't take too long, actually. Just putting different clusters of flowers around everywhere. Probably quicker than the parallax mapping way, actually. And yeah, it's interesting to think of doing flowers in tiles, because at one point it was unimaginable doing flowers as tile sets. It would have been in RPG Maker Editor, it just wouldn't be possible doing them in there. Maybe try additive and subtraction selection instead. Oh, there's actually blending modes in this program, because I didn't even know if that's the case. An interesting way to do it though, and definitely easier, though I've already started it this way now. I mean, it would be easy enough to, I suppose, to, I guess, well, just do it this way, because I can't seem to find the blending modes, and I'm sort of comfortable doing it this way anyway now. But I'll look into blending modes another time, maybe off stream. Oh, in Photoshop there is, yes, too late now. Okay. Yeah, I thought you meant actually in TileD there was blending options. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool if so. But still, it's still a wonderful program, even without them. Okay, so I'm just checking where we might have missed. I'm kind of really excited to like get more of this map built and then walk through it on a test play without having transfers between scenes, because that would have, like, I've never played the game like that before, because it wouldn't let you wouldn't be allowed to test a humongous parallax map in RPG Maker without crashes. So I'm kind of intrigued by how it's all gonna be, and I'm kind of expecting things to go wrong, because nothing ever goes smoothly. But if it actually works and it's nothing wrong with it, I'll be like, wow, this tile thing is a godsend. That is already cheating in my book. It is cheating, that's for sure. I'm like, how is this even a thing when I was reading about it? Because I just googled it, I was curious, I was starting to think, you know, this parallax map thing isn't going to give me the seamless sort of world I'm wanting, because of, and I was like, I wonder if there's a tile program out there that will let me still have the Everbloom Virus look as it does. And it was kind of like wishful thinking on my part when I was googling that, but that actually was a thing. And I don't regret not knowing about it earlier. I mean, some might think, oh damn it, where's the time I could have used tile from the start and not bothered with parallax mapping. I mean, I'm glad I've experienced using the parallax maps, because if I didn't, I'd have always wondered about that as well, and how that would have been. It's nice to experiment with the many different approaches. And I was chatting to someone yesterday, and I said to them as well, I'm the sort of person, when it comes to this game, I would extend the development time of episode 1 if it meant it being a smooth and better experience on release, then rush it and it just be a mediocre experience. I would very much be willing to add an extra 6 months to a year of development to do that. And I already kind of have, because this was originally going to be a 2020 release. It ain't going to be that now. That's why I totally respect the devs who are doing Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk was meant to have come out in March. And it's coming out in November now. And I'm like, good on them. They actually want to spend time perfecting the game so it can be a masterpiece rather than something just bleh and buggy. So we've nearly done all the top corners, it's just we've got some bottom corners still to do though. Trying to spot if there's any top corners we've missed. There's one there. Everything in itself within what I've done so far has to be reorganised anyway, because a lot of the way I've organised the variables and the switches I've done so far are fairly messy. So there needs to be a whole overhaul of the content that's been done so far anyway. And it'll make moving on to new content even more super exciting. Okay, so I think I've done some. I mean, I might spot some more that we haven't done. And now I'm going to just put the cliffs in the background on the ones we've just done. And I'm zoomed out super far so I can see everything properly. For this part, it's a little bit easier to be zoomed out. Well, doing the corners it is anyway. When doing the more detailed cliff edges and things, I want to be zoomed in. But I'm a fan of this cliff design because look how seamless that is. Look how seamless. I mean, I have quality options today, guys, so you can view the stream in 1080 if you can. So it'll be a bit blurry on 720, I think, but on 1080 you'll probably be able to see in better quality. And it's so seamless. Like, there's not any indication that it was originally a tile. But if you look, like, look at the lines, like, you can so tell that the original was a tile, and that was always something I wanted to change anyway, and I was like, yeah, that needs to be changed. It's that line, it's that obvious line every single time, and it's only really obvious when you've got very long cliffs. And I was like, oh my god, it's going to be really, you know, editing that in the parallax map is going to be a long time. I would have had to have, you know, gone back to the tile set version of this and redone that and screenshot the whole thing again. And yeah. Okay, so, and yeah, look at the difference. I'm in love. I'm in love with it. So again, I'm excited to see Everbloom Forest brought back to life with this new fancy cliff. Okay, so cliff cut. No, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I was on the wrong layer then, and I was like, oh, and I panicked. But all's good. There shouldn't be any, you know, these are all the cliff corners that we did. I don't know why those ones are there though. They shouldn't be on the cliff corner layer. I'm gonna delete them actually. So I want to keep this nice and tidy. Well, that was weird. Like, I noticed that it deleted, it made it, yeah. I'm glad I undid that. Okay. There we go. Now, yeah, we'll have to put the corners back on that one, but I want to keep this top tidy, you know. I don't want to just have messy layers. It'll be worth it in the long run. It's when we need to edit the map if necessary. Is there grass above this? Let me check. Oh, I know why it wasn't working. Oh, it's because it's locked. I'm still getting used to this program. Like, wouldn't that get put down? Hi, Andy Cake. Oh my gosh, look at that cute green creature with a heart. How are you doing, Andy Cake? Those are there because they're part of the tile. Those are there because they're part of the tile. What? I forgot what I asked. I always forget after about 10 seconds. Okay. I had no idea I put down so many cliff corners. I'm like, whoa, right now. Okay, so lock the cliff corner layer. I need to make sure I get into the swing of things when it comes to locking layers, because I'm going to get myself in a bit of a mess otherwise, accidentally. So I only keep the one I'm working on, unlocked. Okay, so we're just colouring in the background of these ones. And then once we've done all the cliff corners, there we go, accidentally did that. Once we've done all the cliff corners, we'll do the cliff edges then. I'm going to zoom out for this. I think we just got the top right corners to do once we've filled in these. I could have also have done, you know, one of these cliff corners with the cliff in the background, but I just find it easier doing it this way, to be honest. There's always multiple solutions for doing things. Had an okay day? Well, actually, I'm quite exhausted right now. Oh no! Time to nap. Time for a nap. Naps are essential. Imagine never napping. Am I a nerd though for being super excited about redoing this? I feel like the normal people would be like, are you crazy doing all this again? But I'm like, I'm like feeling super like excited. Right, so corners I missed out. You turned a grass tile. Yeah, I noticed actually. It's right there. I saw it. I was glaring at it actually. I was like that. But I thought, yeah, I'll go back to that when we get to the nitty gritty parts, the edges. I'll just fill it in or delete it, whatever it needs to be done. Because there'll be times I've got to smooth them over, I guess. So I think I've filled the corners in, haven't I? You know, you can go now actually because you're bugging me. So I'm going to delete it. There we go. Okay. Oh, there's a corner. See, there's always one. There's always one. And I'm very much expecting, you know, when we've already done it, so when it's 100% done, to like see a glitch somewhere that I've forgotten about. And I'm just very happy that we can just easily correct them from now on. Hi Clan, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. So I'm doing these ones now, the bottom right cliffs. Let's zoom out a bit. It's harder to be accurate when you're zoomed out, but you at least get a better view of what needs doing. And just rounding the cliffs off makes so much difference. I hope I inspire people to make forest maps. Yeah, I've just noticed now that we missed a few corners. Always happens. How is your game? Doing all right, Clan. We're in a bit of a sort of improvement, overhaul period of our game at the moment. We're redoing the mapping entirely because we're doing things a different and more efficient way when it comes to the mapping, and it'll be better for our game in the long run. Everbloom Forest and Lightfall is gonna literally, it's all gonna take part on this humongous square. Well, it's a small square from this view, but you know, this is like the proper view. That I think, something like that. So yeah, it's pretty big. It's the max that RPG Maker can be, 256 grid. That's the limit, and there is a way to break the limit, but I don't want to do that because it could cause some issues. Who knows? And I feel like this is big enough for what Everbloom will be. We've got room to potentially create new areas if we wish when we add new content. I mean, we know that there's going to be a cave in this area. Right here, the cave is. So we'll have a complete underground layer of the Everbloom Forest as well, so plenty of room for a big world in just episode 1 alone. But I like that. I never wanted episode 1 to be this small little thing. I still want it to have lots of content. Kind of seen it as maybe 4 main quests and a handful of side quests. But those 4 main quests, they're pretty chunky. as we know. We've just finished main quest 2s, and it's a pretty chunky quest. So I suppose you could see it as we're about halfway through, if I'm planning 4 main quests and we've just finished second. But obviously the side quests will bulk it up a bit. But when I say side quests, I don't mean filler just for the sake of bulking up the game. I mean like proper good quests. Like, I want our side quests to be proper good. Like Witcher 3 style level of side quest quality, because they are the game that inspired me, that side quests can be awesome and not filler. I have no patience now for filler side quests. I find that if I'm playing a game and it has side quests like go kill 3 rats and come back, I'm like, oh, forget it. I mean, those sort of quests are perfectly fine if they're like hunts or something. Yeah, totally. I don't mind hunts, going out to kill things. But for actual, like, to me, side quests are just a chance to explore more of the lore of the game and an opportunity to tell another story and cover other themes that the main quest doesn't cover. So it's just another opportunity for great storytelling. It doesn't have to be, oh yeah, just a filler thing. Filler, is that a word? Yeah, with the way I pronounce it, it's a complete new word, Andy Cake. Let's catch up with chat. And hi King, how you doing? Good morning from the US. So it's bright and early for you, isn't it? Well, I suppose depending on if you're on the east or west coast. How you doing, King? And I'm alright, I wasn't here for so long. Is there still an idea sheet for character and class brainstorming? Did we have an idea sheet? Refresh my mind if there was one, because I forgot what it is that you're referring to. But would you consider opening up playtesting to maybe your top Twitch folks when the time comes? King, yes, there's actually a question. Well, that is actually a question on the FAQ page. So for those that you don't know, I am going to give you the website link if you want the easy way to get to the website. Oh, I've just realised something. Oh my goodness, one sec, guys, because this is bad. I've been covering up our banner all stream. I'm sad now. I'll get up to catch up with chat in a moment. This is we want our banner, because that's got our website on and has other stuff on. Because we had a new window capture, you see, and it's resizing it, covered things up. Oh no. Okay, so that'll do for now. That'll do for now. Okay, so yeah. There's a question there. I do intend, when we get the first playable build out, to open that, and it all explains on the FAQ. So those that are curious, read that, because that'll say everything. That is why we've done an FAQ. Okay, so let's catch up with chat, because you guys have said some awesome things. Yeah, small stories itself. Yeah, Witcher 3 is a large team of professional writers, so don't shoot too high writing the stage. Yeah, I'm not, guys, I'm not intending to be like comparing myself to a AAA dev team. I just want to create a nice, memorable experience and try my best as one person, you know. There's nothing wrong with being inspired and wanting to create something good. Because there's another game out there that's a AAA game, an RPG that was recently released, that did side quests full of fillers, so you can still be AAA and create mediocre quests. What is one of the rats eat the daughter and she was a witch? You find her ring, then the side quest. Being in true form after you kill the next 3 rats. Yeah, and of course, if there's like lore and something really interesting in with those sort of filler quests, then that's different. If you're gonna make it into something I guess, like, honestly, it's simple. I just want the side quest to be memorable. Nothing like show stopping, just something people remember. Because there's a lot of games I've played and I can't remember the side quests of because they were just bland. But The Witcher 3, they did do good ones. So it's just inspiring. Doing well, thank you, as well as can be expected these days at least. Dang, I have been rumbled on not having read the FAQ. My shame is infinite. My apologies. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about it. It's cool. It's only something we've recently added to the website in the last few weeks, because it's very important, you know, to get those main questions up that people want to know the answers to. So there you go, guys. Just checked out your website. Looks like a really cool project. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, our website is it's still gonna have a few more little bits and pieces put on it eventually. Gotta just prioritize things. It's kind of the dilemma, isn't it? Website, game dev, lore bible, all these different things to be working on. I like switching between them and mixing things up a lot. I find that's quite an effective technique. Alright, so we got a lot of corners we didn't do, so we'll go back to the corners and fill them in. Let's zoom out. So, a side quest of the type: collect all the farmers' chickens that have escaped and are running all over town, so you can unlock and get some eggs at a market to make a useful potion. Isn't your cup of tea? Not really. I mean, it's not for me. Maybe it's for others, but I'd get bored. I guess I'm just a lore geek, and I don't mind like search, find and hunt quests if, you know, I mean, they're fine in themselves, but I think when you've got a big world there with an opportunity to expand on the lore that you're in, especially because of our community and the style of how we do things, we've got so many amusing ideas that people have come up with. It would be a shame not to at least touch upon some of those really cool ideas, because we're a community here, you know. I mean, yeah, we might not be the professional writers of CD Projekt Red, far from it, but we're a community that, so we've had some really good ideas, guys. We can't dismiss that. Like, we've had some very original, charming ideas, and we could, sadly, a lot of those side quest ideas we have will have to be cut, because I have a Google Word document of pages of ideas from you guys over the months. Some of them will have to be cut because we've got so many. So we'll have to like have a vote or a poll or something on the ones that people are most drawn to. And once we know, we can like expand on those themes and ideas. And I think that's the beauty of doing this, you know, something like this that is so community driven. We all put our heads together and can think of some really cool stuff. I'm really like excited by it. And hello, I've just switched from streaming mode to see online. What a great evening. Hi Yoda, how you doing? It's good to see you. Before you can get people to care about doing quests, you need to get them to care about your character. Well, yeah, exactly. And I think that's the ultimate thing that you need to realise as well. That people are going to get bored with quests if there's no reason to care. And I think that's why, like, when I says, oh, I'd probably get bored by that quest, and why I have turned games off. Because I haven't been attached to the world. I've got no reason to do this quest. I want to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do this and see where this leads. You have to have that feeling. And I think the thing is, when a lot of quests are just made following the same template without much effort to put in any kind of twist to it, yeah. And yeah, there's like certain fetch quests, maybe they're fine. But when we have like a huge, like a pretty decent sized list of quirky community ideas and like interesting ideas that have been given in chat by you guys or in Discord, quests like that aren't going to make the cut because there's been so many interesting ones suggested. We might even have to not have some really awesome ones, but the good thing is we've got other episodes. Certain suggestions that you guys might have said, the theme of them might fit better in another setting, so they can make an appearance in later episodes, the ones that wouldn't make the cut. Great, thanks. How are you? I'm doing good, June. I'm doing good. Considering I'm redoing all the mapping, some people might think, oh my god, not all doing all this again, because this map that we're working on now is one we've already done. Here's how it looked before, and that's what we're going to turn into again. But and why do it again? Because we're going to be, this here is a parallax map, a PNG image, and it's going to be turned into a tile set doing it this way, because this little program here, it's a program called TileD. Super neat, super, and it's just so good. I'm so excited because I didn't think a program like this would exist. And thank you so much, Andy Cake, for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. 16 months of subs. Oh my goodness, can we have some hype in chat? I appreciate that, Andy Cake. I like your little red blood drop badge next to your name. That's very pretty. And I hope I haven't been missing people's notifications and subs and that. And I apologise if anyone's here who has subbed and I didn't see, because I realised last stream Gretchstar subbed and I completely realised I missed the alert, and I felt so bad. I was like, I didn't thank her for the sub, and yeah. I appreciate that, Andy Cake. And thank you, Calamity, for that follow. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Yes, I did. Oh my god, Gretch, you're here. Yeah, I saw. I was looking through my alerts off stream afterwards, and I saw that you subbed, and I was like, I didn't thank Gretch. I'm the worst human. So if I ever do miss anything, guys, just know it's never on purpose. It's just that it simply went up with the rest of chat unmissed. But I appreciate that, Gretch. That's so kind of you to do. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a lovely day. Chocolate fillers, Andy Cake says. Chocolate this is how I say chocolate. That's how I pronounce chocolate, guys. You okay? You're all so busy. I understood. Yeah, sometimes it happens, you know. You know, it's the challenge. It's a forever challenge, working on a game, streaming and talking to chat, you know. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I always like a very busy stream, very, very much so. And I'm always very willing to take leave the game for a bit to just talk to you guys. Because I'm not the sort of streamer that would be streaming, talking to myself and not talking to chat. I feel like there'd be no point me streaming if I was gonna do that. I'd just do it, just make the game off stream all the time. I'd stream to interact. Hello, lurking while I work. How long have you been developing games, if may I ask? Good question. Well, I have had an interest in games since I was very young. My first RPG Maker engine was RPG Maker 2000. I was about 10 about then when I downloaded RPG Maker 2000, and I very casual as a child made games in though that were terrible. I was working on a game with one other person in 2015, and it got some media attention, but unfortunately the project got cancelled, and you gotta just move on. It got cancelled for personal reasons, so on their side. So I've always thought, yeah, I want to do a game on my own one day, though. Still, I'm not going to let that put me off. And we're on stream 162 today, are we? So we started this last year properly on stream. We started streaming last year. It's definitely been a journey. We've been taking our sweet time with it because I care about quality and rather than rushing. So yes, we're very much just only tipping the iceberg on this project. So when episode 1 does get released, this will be my first released product that I've ever done. So that'll be a cool, super cool achievement, because I've always been one of these people that has messed around with creative things, such as with games, and for one reason or another it's not kicked off or it hasn't got round to being released. So although the passion and interest has always been there pretty much all my life, this will be the first, because I don't have a coding, computer science background or anything like that. I did something else at college entirely, and it kind of distracted me from my love of games. It was another route, one that didn't work out, and I never pursued a career in that, and I'm enjoying doing this more instead. Thank you, Azrael. How are you doing? How are you doing, Azrael? And thank you for the project command. I appreciate it. That's very cool. Yeah. I was very open. I've got the AMA tag on the stream, which means ask me anything, so I'm always very willing to answer any questions on the stream. So you guys can find out more about me. And of course, certain questions I won't answer. They're all private, but anything that's not like a normal question, I'll answer. I'm glad I stumbled upon this channel. Yeah, and we're glad to have you here. Super glad to have you join us. Lovely to always meet new faces and see people taking an interest in our nerdy little thing here in this corner of the internet. And it's a super good one. I'm doing some work lurking as always. Rose loves her lurkers. I do. I want to make that clear as well. If you ever worry about being a lurker and think I'm offended, please realise that I'm not. Lurkers are my everything. And that's why we have raindrops on our stream, because for people who wanna lurk and gather those raindrops. Raindrops are our currency, and we have given all the commands in chat at the moment. So yeah, you can actually be a character in the game if you do get 1,000. So it's a bit of a grind, but it's a reward for the community members that have really spent time here in the stream to have something, special in the game of theirs that they've sort of played a part in creating. And some streamers, I don't know any names, no names, this is just gossip I've heard, that apparently don't like lurkers, and I don't understand personally. Why not? Why does anyone know why anyone wouldn't like lurkers? I have to ask. Oh my goodness, you are getting there. I believe in you guys with all those raindrops. Andy Cake's Andy Cake's been here since I was a baby streamer, so I'm not surprised with those huge amount of raindrops. Okay, so what we're doing at the moment, guys, I'm going to run through what the goals are right now. We've got 2 tasks that I'm kind of going to be switching between for the next couple of weeks. The first one is getting everybody's character profile up into the lore Bible. And we're in the process of doing that lately. And then the second task is doing this, which is literally recreating the maps we've already made. These all these 7 maps into one big map in a tile set format rather than image format. And because of the invention of this beautiful program, we're able to create a tile set version of such a detailed map because it has unlimited layers, unlike the RPG Maker editor. And it's going to take time-consuming job, so anything like this always is, but something that is going to be well worth it because it's going to improve the immersion of the game, having a big open tile set map rather than just a bunch of images. And it's going to be easy for me in the future as well, doing it this way with our future maps. And it's much easier to edit as well. As long as you have at least one person chatting, lurkers are no problem at all. Yeah, they are the backbone of a Twitch stream. Let's face it, they are. You need them. I don't understand it either. People have banned me for lurking. It's been fun. Seriously? Like, why? I feel like as a streamer, a content creator, you are a fool to not appreciate your lurkers because they are your community. Lurkers are your entire community. Like, let's be realistic here. Nobody is going to come into a stream and be chatting 24/7. Nobody's got the energy for that. You guys have work and your own lives and the own stuff that you're doing. So you're going to be lurking. You're going to be in and out, in and out of chat, and I think it's way too much for any streamer to expect, to be in chat and not lurking all the time. No clue. I've never had a problem with any streams I've followed. Most folks want viewers who stick around, lurks or not. Yeah, I think like the circle of friends I have in the Twitch on Twitch, none of the streamer friends I have are like that, and I'm glad I've not met any that are, to be honest. Most of them share the same values as me. Great quote I heard yesterday is, creating art is like jumping off a cliff and building your wings on the way down. That's an interesting quote for sure. Very, very something to think about. I like to hear quotes like that. Interesting. Thanks for sharing, Kindled. You ready to crash? Well, I hope you have a good nap, Andy Cake, and thanks again for that sub. Do appreciate it. I've never understood why anyone would like lurkers. Yeah, I'd have to ask them, but I wouldn't want to talk to them anyway because they're probably a complete dick. I don't say that word very often, but they are. Lurker who likes to listen while doing other things. Hi, Midsega. Yeah. Anyone that's lurking here, just know I appreciate it, and I know that you're lurking because you've got a lot of raindrops. And I'm like, yeah, you're a pro lurker in this channel. I can see that because you've got all the raindrops, and I like it. That's what I encourage. That's why the whole raindrop system exists. I would chat to you all day, Rez. Thank you, Asriel. Hi, True Baldy. How you doing? It's good to see you. They want to support you, but yeah, life might not allow for more than being a presence. Yeah, I think, you got to think. You got to realise that there is so much content out there in this day and age. There's not only Twitch, but there's Netflix, there's YouTube, there's people have a choice to do thousands of things, well, unlimited amount of things. And they've chose to go in your stream. You've got to realise that and be grateful as a content creator. Don't ever let anything get to your head. I'm not leaving. She used the D word, shocking. Yep, I never really curse. That's one thing, and there's no reason for it. I don't do it just because I want to. It's just not like me to curse. I'd feel like if I started cursing, I'm kind of going against my identity because I've never really done it before. But I'm not offended by anyone that does, or anything like that. I don't judge people for who they are. But yes, if I ever curse, it's because it's because I'm very angry or trying to make a point. And you know that something's a big deal when I do. I've had the chance to ask 2 of them just last week why they do it. One of them was using a bot to automatically ban people who don't talk, which seems incredibly silly, and the other one doesn't like their chat list cluttered with users who aren't there. It's weird. How strange. I think that they've really got a strange way of seeing content creation, if you ask me. Very strange. Very strange indeed. That's gross. No. Hi Nungi, how you doing? Yeah, I'm kind of glad that you haven't said who those people are, because if you ever did, or if I ever knew anyone that was like that, I'd really be put off them. I'd think, oh no. And I wouldn't want to ever get to know them either, because it's really not on, in my opinion. That isn't. I don't know if it's ignorance or something, but it just seems dumb. Seems dumb. Oh my gosh, True Baldy, look at those raindrops. Yeah, and how are you, Nungi, as well? I might have already asked, but I always forget. I always repeat myself quite often because I always forget what I said before. Because when I stream, my mind's like this. Because there's so much going on. And the one with the auto banning inactive users literally asked me why I care about seeing chat if I don't plan on talking. Oh my goodness, True Baldy, with 5 gift subs there for the community. Kindled, King, Kong, Connie and Storm Raven got subs. Oh my god, thank you so much. That is very kind of you to do. Super appreciate the support and for doing something nice for not only me but the community as well. So those of you that got the subs, I hope you enjoy your emotes. And the double raindrops as well. You get double raindrops now too. Thank you so much, True Baldy. Let's have some hype in chat for that generosity. Always has to be appreciated. That's a lot of subs indeed. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy those subs. Thank you. Yay. Always it's a pleasure supporting your content. Yeah, and I appreciate it. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. And always busy but always doing good. Yeah, and I hope work's going well for you, True Baldy, and your music is going well too. Always exciting to know people are doing creative stuff. Music and creative music is always one thing I've wanted to explore because I love music, but I just don't have the time because you can't do too much at once, you know. You can't put too much on your shoulders. But I've always been interested by how composing, and I think it's fascinating. And let me read back what Nightmare says, sorry, care about seeing chat if I don't plan on talking. Yeah, I maybe there's a bit of ignorance with that person, Nightmare Joker. I mean, I don't like to always just assume someone's a dick, but you know, it's strange because speak to anybody who's any content creator on Twitch who knows what they're talking about, that they'll be like, yeah, lurkers are important. I'm ashamed. I miss me arriving. It's not like me. You're forgiven. Everyone's forgiven. We all make mistakes. We're human beings. Always working on my music and stuff. Yay, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it's going all right. Time for bed here. Hope you have a great night breakfast. Yeah, take care, Nungi. I hope that you enjoy your beds because it's late where Nungi is. It's night time. I'm super lurking, sorry. One thing, lurking and sorry don't belong in the same sentence. Remember that, folks. No need to ever be sorry for lurking. I miss myself arriving because I'm a lost cause. Yay, okay, so we are making our map beautiful. The goal of today, the goal I've given myself today with this map is getting all the cliffs done and all the paths. And I don't think that's going to be all done this stream because it's doing these cliffs is blooming time consuming, but I'm going to be doing more off stream tonight. I'm going to put my headphones on, listen to some awesome music and get more of this mapping done. I'm kind of going to be doing it off on stream and off stream, but we might have some streams this week and next that are Law Bible related again and getting profiles in. It'll be a mix of the two. However I'm feeling on certain days we'll do, and eventually we'll have done them both, and then we can carry on with finalising and smoothing over the ending of Main Quest 2. And as soon as that's done, we can finally start new content. So we've got some exciting stuff ahead. And at some point we will get a first playable build released, but it'll be when I feel like it's not got any hiccups in it. I don't want to release a bad quality first build. Even though it's only a first build, it's no big deal. I still don't want to give the people that do play it a bad impression, like where it's glitchy or things not working. But you're gonna get a few, because that's gonna happen. That's the whole point testing. But you know, I don't want it to be a complete disaster. He has become the very essence of lurking. I sure have. You're such a sweetheart, Rose. No, you guys. You guys are the sweethearts. I'm going to zoom out because I do think we've missed a few corners. Yeah, we've missed one here too. So many cliffs, so many cliffs, it's like crazy. Is it true what one says about British people? Can't you handle getting compliments? I think compliments are a funny thing, aren't we? I mean, we all love them, let's face it. Well, if they're, you know, if they're not like creepy compliments, because there's always some, but a genuine nice compliment is always nice to get. But I think a lot of us can have problems accepting them. Can you guys relate to that? And I don't know why, to be honest. I think it's just a bit of embarrassed. Because I get embarrassed easily. I blush quite easily because I'm shy. So I think it's more because of that with me, more than feeling I don't deserve them. Because I sort of, you know, we all deserve compliments. I'm just shy is all. I get very giggly and embarrassed. I can definitely relate. It's always problematic for me. My ego really feeds on them. Oh, you like compliments then, True Baldy? Who doesn't really, though? I think we all do deep down. We just don't want to admit it. I think I'm starting to see now that we've filled in most the cliff corners, but there's probably the odd few that haven't been filled in that we'll have to go back to when we zoomed in closer and we start doing the cliff edges. I think no, those top ones are all done. Where's that? I'd love to know the amount of corners that are on this screen. I mean, if you're curious, guys, we can zoom out. See how I did it before. And I hide all the layers. All the corners. It's like a jigsaw puzzle doing this in a way. Trying to, like, redo a map. And it's fun. Jigsaw puzzles are fun, right? I haven't done one of those in a long time. My mum did one last year before this pandemic started, and it took her like a month to do a jigsaw puzzle because it was a huge one. I think we're getting there. We've got some bottom cliffs to do though. You can see some here that we missed. Was it one of those 10,000 piece ones? Is that a reference to something? Sorry, I'm very slow on grasping things. One of my many flaws. Well, we've all got flaws, you know. Anybody that says they haven't is a narcissist. And one of my flaws is that I can be very slow at understanding jokes or references. The jigsaw puzzle. Oh, okay. And that's another one. I forget what I was talking about. I forget that as well. I completely forgot I was talking about jigsaw puzzles. The jigsaw puzzle. It probably was. Probably was. But it took her forever. But yeah, I'm kind of seeing this as like doing a jigsaw puzzle in a way. And it's quite therapeutic, believe it or not. I think you have to kind of see it like that, otherwise it'll drive you insane. If you're one of these impatient people that don't want to do this. I forget what I just said immediately on stream. Yeah, so you can get that, Gresh. I don't know whether it's to do with being a streamer. I think, because in real life, if I was having a conversation with someone, I'd be fine. I wouldn't forget. I think it's because you don't have other things to think about in real life. You just, but on stream, like there's so many different things, isn't there? So it's so easy to forget. It's how I feel anyway. This is like endless. These corners, it's as if they're never ending. I'm not even joking. Like, I feel like I've done them all and then another 10 appear. And then I'm like, oh, they're all done now. All the corners are done. And then like, and then there's like another 50 and I'm like, what's going on? But I'm honestly feeling like they are all done now. I'll say that and then they'll be like, oh, there's more. And this is only 7 maps as well. Well, for 6, because we're not including like 4. We already did the cliffs for that. So, oh yeah, look, there's more. There. That's what I mean. It's never ending. But at least we can say we never have to do cliff corners ever again. Once they're all done. So, oh, hello. There's another. So the ones that have the green, like, grass corner, we just put a cliff tile behind them on a layer behind to get rid of those corners. And oh my goodness, like, we've already got 4 layers here. In RPG Maker Editor, you're not even allowed to have more than 3 layers. We're going to end up with about 15 layers by the end of this, because the Everbloom Forest is so detailed. There's just so much stuff on the map. Like, we've got vines, we've got little cliffs on the wall, we've got the flowers, we've got lots of different tree types, and even in some areas, yeah, we have stumps and there's even dirt things on the cliffs as well. And they're very subtle, but it's there. So that will be a lot of layers by the end. So we're going to fill in those cliff corners, and then we'll do the cliff edges. But I'm liking doing this on stream now. I think it's very chill. Because sometimes doing something like a bit more easy that requires less thinking is quite fun. Because some of the game dev stuff and world building and writing and that, it requires you to think. So it's quite fun to do something easy. Maybe those little dirt things can be left out because they're hardly seen. Yeah, I don't mind adding them, because I feel like that's what makes the map special. It's these little tiny details that you don't see upon close look. Surprisingly, they can make a difference to the map, even though you wouldn't think it. Just like, it was a way to make the cliff pattern not look so repeated. Kind of disguise that a bit. But yeah, it is very subtle, but I think because we've got unlimited layers, there's no reason to not. If we had unlimited layers and say this program only allowed 10 or something, then maybe yes. But I'm one of these people that I don't mind putting in the extra work. We got trees, we got flowers, we got rocks, we got we got vines, we got loads. It's the never-ending corner story. The never-ending story. I remember watching that as a kid, and I can't even remember what happened in it. The only thing I remember is that big white fluffy dragon. That's the only thing I remember. Okay, have we filled in all the... Yeah, I think we're at a point. I mean, we've probably there's probably a few little corners we've missed. It wouldn't surprise me, I'm going to say. But we'll always fill those in if we see one. No biggie. So we're going to do the edges now. Let's think where to start. Should we start from the left and go across? And it's probably easy to try and be organised about it and do it in parts. So I'm going to just make sure we've got all the... Yeah, there's nothing that shouldn't be on that layer. It's all just the corners. So let's finally make the cliff, bring it to life so it's not so flat. And we could use the rectangle tool for this. Yeah, that's probably easier than doing one square at a time. Because then we can drag. Still trying to get used to this program. There we go. Oh. Oh, that was his name, Falcor, yeah. Who could forget that cutie though? Like, that is the one that sticks to me because it was cute. Artak scarred me for life. Is that another one in it? I just remember the white one. Been a long time since I watched Neverending Story, but I remember quite a few scenes. We all need a luck dragon in our lives. He's such a... He was a fluffy. He was fluffy, wasn't he? What a sweetie pie. So like, yeah, we've got the vertical edges to do still and the corners as well. But I feel we should do all the horizontal edges first so we don't have to keep switching the tile that we're putting down. It's probably easier that way. So we've done all the top. Yeah, I'm gonna do it from left to right and go lower and lower. Puppy dragon. Yeah, I was gonna say he looks more like a doggo, doesn't he? He does look like a doggo. A pupper. Artax is a trio, if I said that name right. Horse in the movie, he dies in an extraordinary sad scene. Oh really? That might be why I don't remember, because I might have like blocked it out because of the sadness. Because oh, why did I do that? Yeah, that for that one we need this. That's it. Oh, interesting observation. We got green bits that shouldn't be there, so we're going to delete them out in the tile on Photoshop. So this is very simple to do. We already did it. So we've got the tiles in Photoshop. So this is where it is. Now, we don't want to have them invisible. Do we want them invisible? Let me just check. Yeah, we're gonna want to paint it brown rather than transparent because we'll still see the grass layer underneath. So we'll do this. We'll put a darker brown edge actually so that it's not... That might be a bit too dark actually. It looks a bit weird zoomed in, but it might not look too bad against the cliff. We'll see. If it needs changing, it'll be easy enough to do. Yeah, I'm not sure. But... Yeah... We might want to do this then. Got another idea. So it's a bit thick, that brown line is for my liking. So my other idea is to let's get the grid up. I mean, we could do the same technique that we did for the actually, that's probably the smart thing to do. Do the same technique we did for the cliff corners on the top layer rather than paint it brown underneath. So I'm going to go back, delete these, we'll have it transparent. And we'll put the cliff tile behind so that we can't see the grass layer. Okay, so if we just delete those. Now, instead of having that be called cliff corners, we can call it cliff corners and edges top. Cliff top corners and edges, because they are the top ones. So put that there, and then on the layer below we just put a cliff in the background. There we go, much better. That looks like that's the wrong tile for the bottom of the cliff side. There's a bottom tile now. I'm not sure, because that's the one I'm using, the top, because they're the corners, and I believe that's what we used for the parallax map too in the same scene. In fact, it looks like there's none there. We just left it without, so it just shows how many mistakes were in the original. There was a few things that went left and neglected in that parallax map. I think I was just excited to get the flowers down at the time. I think it looks fine anyway, to be quite honest. Maybe it's not the right tile, but I'm not going to make a fuss about it, because there's literally no other one that looks like it belongs. And if I don't think there's any need to create a new one, because that plays the part fine. Okay, so yeah, I just gotta delete those. Yeah, those were the only ones I put down, so we're all good. So we'll just put them down first into the cliff background bit afterwards. Put the ground though, because it looks weird without the ground. But we had to do the same thing for all the edge tiles. They all had this green edge on them, and we did the right and left side as well. Just comparing those two cliffs again and thinking how much better the new one is. Just looks more seamless and not like... The marks are so clear in this one that it's repeated. But it's hidden better with this new design. And I've got Photoshop up still, I apologise guys. Get tiled up for you. Sometimes I forget that I've still got a window capture open. Did your display capture get stuck? Yeah, well, yeah, it was just me forgetting, because I don't actually use display capture. I do use it for some things like test playing and certain situations. I'll get up my display capture, but I don't have it up 24/7 on stream, because the unfortunate thing about display capture is it literally will capture everything, and I think that's pretty dangerous as a streamer. You have to be careful. So the good thing about window capture is that it only captures you know, what you want it to. It doesn't show all your files and folders and private details in your file explorer and stuff, or any email pop-ups or anything like that. So yeah, it is a bit of a pain in the ass to have about 10 window captures instead of just one display capture, but I think I'd rather feel safe and just have to have window captures. Okay, so now these ones. Well, even though, like, this is a time-consuming progress, I've kind of given myself at least a week to get this done. I mean, if I get it done in a week, I'll think brilliant, but I'm expecting it to be a little bit longer. So, you know, but the fact that been streaming for how long? Just less than 3 hours. We managed to round off the cliffs in that time. You know, it's not too bad during in a stream where I've been chatting the whole time. So progress is progress. We'll do these ones first. I feel like I'd rather get them down first before we put the background. So it can save a bit of time, I think, to not have to switch between tiles constantly. I feel like we can improve the ground actually, this ground tile we've got, because there is a little, I can see a slight repeating pattern. There's a certain pattern in this grass tile that keeps repeating. I think it could look potentially a bit more seamless, so we can always work on editing that a bit as well at some point. Do the tiles in the bottom row, the tile set preview, not work for you because they have the grass encroaching in to the rock face? Oh, you mean those? Yeah, we do use those. We'll use them for I'll show you how I'll be using these, because we already use them for like fall. We use them. But they're going to be the last job. I'm saving that bit to last. I'm working on the edges first. But we use them here. But that's not what I want to use for these bits, because these cliffs are meant to give the illusion of going lower because of the height, you see. But as soon as we put them there, it's giving the impression that the cliff has stopped. It's the bottom of the cliff, which it isn't. The cliff is actually still going on to create the illusion of depth. If that makes any sense, that's why we don't use those parts for that. We'll only be using that to show that the cliff has touched the bottom. And David, thank you so much for the host. I appreciate that. How are you doing today? Tips for getting started in game dev. Oh, so yeah, that's a good question. So have you got any experience yourself, Calamity, or are you just have an interest in game dev and wish to pursue it? In all honesty, for anyone that wants to start but is feeling a bit like daunted by it but has like a sort of interest in pursuing it, I just say take small steps. Have a look, see if there's think about the game you want to make first of all, like have an idea, see what engine might do the job, but don't like put too much on yourself at one time in one go. Raindrop Chronicles started very casually. It was going to be a free to play sort of joke of an RPG with a story that was sort of there to make us just laugh and have fun together, and it still had Raindrop Chronicles still has that charming humour and silly, which is just part of the tone of the game that'll always be there. But I, over the months, started taking this project way more seriously than it was originally. And by seriously, I mean like pursuing it as a sort of job, you know, rather than, oh, this is just a fun game I'm doing as a hobby. So it's changed from a career to from a hobby to a career, I guess. Even though, of course, it's not. I'm not earning any like sort of income, but you know, that is the sort of dream, I guess. The only income I'm getting, of course, is my Twitch right now, and my savings from the last job. I'm in school for programming, but finding that game dev is more appealing. Oh, right, so game dev, like, as in not just programming, like the games as a whole. Because I guess programming is a big part of game dev in itself. But programming doesn't necessarily have to just be game dev, does it? It can be software development and anything like that as well. Hi Rose, how are you doing today? Still about 30% asleep? Yeah? Oh no, I hope you got a coffee, Dava. Learning Unity slightly on the side, but it's been slow going with working and school. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, it's almost like very... If you've got other priorities in your life, like a full-time job and school, while you want to do this, it makes it much more of a challenge. Luckily for me, I can put everything into this right now because I've got no other priorities in regards to that in my life right now. And that's why I'm kind of making the most of this as I can, and why I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to do this whole map again. Say if I had a full-time job and loads of things to do, I might find doing this whole map again too much. I'd be like, oh, forget that, because I'd be too busy. But I've got the time to really, you know, smooth this as much as possible and make sure that every detail is carefully put together. I don't want a rushed product, but luckily I'm in the position for it not to be a rushed product right now. But it's so much more different if you've got a busy life. So yeah, just small steps. Start small, maybe. Like an RPG is an epic, you know, it's very ambitious to jump right in there and be like, yeah, I'm making an RPG. I did it, but you know, just do whatever you want. Like, even if you are ambitious, don't let anyone stop you or tell you no, you can't do that. You know, the sky's the limit. You do what you want to do. And just have fun. I think the main thing is, like, I mean, it's normal to stop having fun sometimes, like feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, even when you're passionate. That happens, but you know, it's the main thing is that you're getting something out of it. But yeah, Unity's a good one though. It's one of those flexible engines. I mean, I haven't done Unity myself. I know very little about it because I'm not a coder. But I do know from what I've heard that it is very flexible and a great one that people jump into when they want to make a game. Like with RPG Maker, there's tons of limitations, but that you probably don't get with Unity. It wasn't obvious that it's like that when you're all the way zoomed in. Yeah. Well, no worries. It's better that you know, mention it, because who knows, it could have been something I didn't even notice that was important. But yeah, there was a reason for why I wasn't using that one. And yeah, I'm kind of just trying to replicate this map as much as possible and do it the exact same, really. And apart from the visual glitches, of course, and I'll be thinking, yeah, maybe certain things can be improved, but overall it's going to be the exact same as how it originally was, with just some slight improvements along the way. So these corners, let me think, because this particular corner looks a little bit far down, so I might just move that up a bit. Yeah, because we're adding the corners now. I think we're on that bit. So all I'm going to do for that is, where's Photoshop? There it is. Okay, so I had to edit the other corners a bit, the bottom ones, when I added those, because they looked a bit weird too. And the best thing to do, I mean, that left corner looks fine, absolutely fine. It's just this one. So I'm going to add the grid, because it'll be much easier to edit, being able to see the grid. That's after the coffee rose. Oh no. So you was 100% asleep before the coffee? My goodness. Or 90% maybe. Oh, yeah, I don't know why I did that. For some reason I thought it was layered. So because everything's already squashed together, we'll have to do things a bit differently. I think that might help a bit. Now we will have to put some grass underneath, so I think that looks fine. Yeah, I didn't like how the edge looked on that either, because there was like 2 lines there, so I think getting rid of that will make it look a bit better. Okay, so it's improved a bit, but it still needs, there's a particular thing that needs removing, I think, which is that part there. Considering dropping school and using my free time to pursue development and teach myself design and such feels crazy, but finding that's where my passions are. How much longer do you have left of your college or of school? Are you at the start or the middle or the end? I mean, it's a tricky one because, you know, sometimes you don't need the college. You can totally make something of yourself without needing that qualification. I do believe that, and in a way I think that could have benefited me if I perhaps did this earlier myself rather than go to university and college. But at the same time, I think you never know, the qualification could help you in life as well. It's a very tricky one. I'd say you got to have a good long think about that one. I certainly wouldn't want you to listen to my advice. It's something you'd have to think about yourself and what is best for you. But I think whatever you decide to do, you will be fine. You know, follow your heart and what that's telling you to do. 2-year degree, but another 1.5 years away. Yeah, it's it's a very tricky situation to be in for sure. And I guess it's thinking, what are you getting out of this? What you're studying? If you feel it could benefit you and it could lead to a career, then totally. But if you're thinking, oh no, it's really boring and not for me, then yeah, maybe pursue something you're more passionate about instead. Glad you're not one of those people for whom caffeine is a sleeping aid. Okay, so that's fine now. Let's get rid of Photoshop. We'll get the TileD back up. So that corner's looking much better than it did. It was really sticking out before. So yeah, let's add the corners now. So we'll just do the top row for now. We're not going to get distracted by the sides at this point in time. We'll think about sides after. And now we've got it as well to the back of these so we don't have that green bit. Appreciate the advice, yay! Okay, so I'm going to put a trivia in chat in the next few minutes. For those that you don't know what trivia is, it probably says on the banner, it scrolls past now and again. It's all Raindrop Chronicles related trivia from our Lore Bible. Everything's in the Lore Bible, the answers, and those that are new to the stream might not know the answers, but you never know. Just a bit of a read on the Lore Bible and you'll be surprised what a pro you could be. So feel free to join in even if you do know nothing about the game, because still be fun. So we'll be putting in a question very soon. And the reward is a special role in the Discord at the end of each month. The leaderboard will refresh at the end of every month. And that role will be just underneath my role in the Discord, by the way. There was me thinking doing the cliff edges would be less time consuming than doing the corners. How wrong was I? Okay, so yeah, I keep staring at the vertical bits, but I'm trying to ignore them right now. Only focus on the horizontal bits. But hang on, there's certain bits here I am realising now I'm looking that will be used by that. I'm thinking now. It's hard to tell actually. It's a difficult one. Because yeah, I've done that wrong. There's certain bits like these ones over this side that yes, they needed to show the depth. These ones on the left side for sure, because these are meant to be higher up and these cliffs go down. But these ones here actually, oh yeah. Let's think. Should have checked the parallax map really at the start in each section to make sure. Okay, now this is interesting because there's actually grass area here as well, which I didn't consider. I feel like I might have done the cliff edges a bit prematurely, to be honest. Because I might have to delete some of them anyway. So I'm gonna leave the rest of the cliff edges for now. I'm gonna do these though. Because these do need doing. We might want to create a little bit more depth on that one actually, just similar to how the old cliff used to be. A bit more depth on that one. So I think that's easy enough to do if we just open Photoshop, because it's literally just a line at the moment. Yeah, it's this side, so we'll just get a gradient, I think. I mean, we could also copy and paste that and flip it, but it might not be the same pattern, so I'm reluctant to. We will look just to see. Yeah, it's a completely different pattern, so it would ruin it. So instead, we'll see how this looks. It might take a little bit of adjusting to get it right, but I think it's an important thing to do. So I'm going to create a new layer. Not that way. Yeah, maybe that. So I'm just putting a gradient on there. See some blending modes because we don't. That's probably fine, that one. We've got to be careful because we don't want to actually see the gradient on the edges where it shouldn't be. So we'll have to get rid of it where necessary. We'll see how that looks. It might be a bit dark, and if it is, we can always lower down the opacity. Right guys, trivia question. If it stays in chat for a few minutes, that's totally fine as well, until someone comes along and answers it, and anyone that does answer it will get a point on the leaderboard. So, trivia question time. What character trope is Carol based on? Hard one, guys. If you get this one right, you're a pro, I'm afraid. So, yeah. Okay, we'll leave it there. What is a trope? A trope is like a storytelling tool, and Carol, I call her a certain trope now and again, but it is one of the harder questions. Gretch got it. It is one of the harder questions actually on the trivia because it isn't yet in the Law Bible. So that is actually a cheating question. But yeah, tsundere is a Japanese trope, which basically means how would we describe a tsundere? You guys would probably describe it better than me, but someone who's very kind of hostile with people they meet, but they kind of have a bit of a soft centre inside, but they wouldn't show it. They kind of just show the hostile side more until you sort of warm to them and they get to know you, I guess. It's always cool to learn something, but yeah, there's actually a website, guys, and I recommend it on tropes, called tvtropes.org. It's basically a whole Wikipedia of stories, whether in different media, whether it's movies, animes, live action, video games, webcomics, books, literature's there as well, like any form of media, like most popular like things that we enjoy, books, video games, films, etc., will have a TV tropes page listing all the tropes in that thing, and you can learn so much about different storytelling tools and like narrative, like sort of devices and things just from browsing. I've wasted absolutely hours on there. But Gretch won. We cannot forget to give Gretch a point on the leaderboard. GG, Gretch. Honestly, I was thinking that question was gonna like get a few people, because I know a few of you guys know that about Carol, but I didn't know whether you was it here right now in chat. So it's cool that you got it. Okay, so points Gretch star 1. So you're now on the leaderboard, Gretch. And you guys can see the current leaderboard if you want to by doing the leaderboard command. I'm not going to do it because whenever I do it, for some reason, the stream elements bot goes really weird and starts putting in random commands. But when you guys do it, it doesn't do that for some reason. So I'm going to let anybody who wants to see it. I know my tropes, yay! Whatever, if you want to answer, guys, I'm curious what your favourite trope is. So I'm going to ask chat, what is your favourite trope? It's a hard question because there's a lot of good tropes out there. Oh yeah, and what is your worst trope as well? So if anyone's got a favourite trope or a worst trope, feel free to say, because it's interesting. It's interesting. I want Raindrop Chronicles to have a TV tropes page eventually. So I recommend, like, if there's a show or a book or a game that you really like, Kung or anyone else in chat who hasn't been on TV tropes before, type it in the search bar on tvtropes.org and see what comes up. You'll be fascinated and you'll spend hours just reading it, because I do. And yeah, I think like anybody that's a nerd for things like that could spend time there. It's an internet hole to fall into. It is very inspiring if you're creating a story though in whatever media. It can be a very inspirational tool that can give you like lots of ideas for what you're doing. Trope is like a meme, but for when you're talking about talking shop about art. So yeah, trope is a good meme in my opinion, because I'm not like a meme person. I don't hate them or anything, but most of the time I don't even get memes. So I'm like, what's that mean? And someone's like, you don't know that meme? And I'm like, no. And I feel like a massive silly Billy. I really like the heel face turn trope. Oh really? I'm gonna read more about, because I've heard of that one, but I actually want to read the article again to refresh myself on it. I'm gonna put Gretch. I'm gonna put anyone who says the favourite or least favourite trope or worst trope in chat. I'm gonna copy and paste and put your name by it so I could look into it after. And who knows, if I read one that you guys suggest and I really like it myself, I might find an excuse to slot it in a Raindrop Chronicles side quest or character arc somewhere. And hi Rex, how are you doing, Careless Handsome? I see you popping in there. Hope you're having a good day at work. How are you today? Hello, how's it going? Not too bad. We've been working on remapping all of like Falling Everbloom, because we're converting the whole entire parallax maps we've got into tile sets now. But it's so cool. It's so cool because we don't have to sort of make our maps look worse, even though we're going back to tile sets, because we've got this wonderful program called TileD, which allows us unlimited layers, so we can make our maps still as detailed as we want. And tiles, it just offers far more advantages to what we're doing compared to parallax mapping. There's like, I could create a list of reasons why tiles are going to be better for us than mapping. And some games, I mean, don't get thinking I dislike parallax mapping, guys, for anyone that loves it and is doing it for their game, because for some games parallax mapping could be brilliant, you know, depending on the kind of game you're doing, or what sort of like how you know, it's great for some games, but for Raindrop Chronicles and the big world we've got planned, I don't know if it's going to be for the best. So that's why we're having the switch. Hello there, yay. I'll be putting another trivia question in another few minutes. I want to, at least, because we're nearing the end of stream now and we haven't done trivia today until just, because we got carried away doing this. And I at least like to do 2 trivia questions in a stream, I think. So they'll just letting you guys know there will be another trivia before the end of the stream. This way is much better, yeah. I was talking to Rex about it yesterday, and it's just, look at this, look at all this green square we've got. I mean, this little section that's filled in with cliffs that you see, that's all of what the maps we've done so far. But look at the outside, we get to do more, and we could have done that anyway. Even if we use small little rectangles, we would have done that anyway. But this way, all of what's in here can be completely seamless, instead of being interrupted with teleports through every edge of the screen, every edge that we get to. With the small maps, we would have had to have those transfer teleports where it fades to black every time, which could be great for some games and fit the vision perfect, like all the Final Fantasies I love the most do that, and it's great for them. But I think the Everbloom Forest is a beautiful map that is waiting to be explored, and it all fits together like a jigsaw puzzle. So why not do that? Why not make it a seamless thing? And we still get to have our mini map. I figured out a way to do it to still have the mini map appear for the area that we're in. It can be done with region tiles, because in RPG Maker there's something where you can put like regions, fill in different sections with regions. So I'll just give every square section their own region tile, and that region tile will be what we use to call the mini map. And some people won't want mini maps. I know that some of you guys are like, screw mini maps, I want to be thrown into a world without a map. I'm personally a map nerd, so I'd have the mini map on show when I play this game. But some of you might not want to, so for those of you that don't like mini maps, you'll be able to turn it off in the options menu. Huzzah. Win-win for everybody. Lakefall is the answer to the trivia question. We haven't done it yet. You'll be able to build it back to what it was pretty quickly. I think you've got faith in me, Rex. I think we had someone pop in earlier saying I've got a lot of work on my hands, and I was thinking, yeah, we totally have, but you know, you gotta put work in if you want to create a good product, a good, like, you know, it's that's what matters to me, and I'm perfectly willing to go back and improve and redo something if I strongly feel it's gonna make a difference for the better, because I was starting to get a bit salty over the way it was before, but I'm already feeling excited about this new approach. It's just like reinvigorated everything for me. So yes, it can pay off. I like Mad Scientist characters a lot, especially when they rant about some grand hubristic vision. Ooh, good one. I'm gonna put that Met says in our notepad file as well. We got to have a scientist in Raindrop Chronicles eventually. I'm hoping a community character like one of you guys who gets 1k raindrops will create a scientist for us eventually, because I don't know whether the theme of scientist would fit with our Everbloom world, because it's a very secluded, sort of wild, out the way, isolated, enchanted sort of place, and but there will definitely be areas and parts of the world we go to in future episodes that will be perfect for having that sort of character. Okay, can't believe how fast the stream's gone, and I feel like we've hardly done anything in regards to our map, but I am pleased we've got the corners done, because you know, did we save that? Let me save it again. I can't remember if we did. Corners are a big deal. Corners are a big deal, guys. You can't have squares. I mean, you can have squares if something's like man-made. You know, man-made stuff, squares are good, but forests, I'll just give you a tip, guys. You want to have something that looks a bit more natural and eroded over time, lived in, if you know what I mean. So I think for that reason, it's, you know, that it's a good thing. Oh yeah, I think, did we sort that out? Hang on, I'm confused. No, I don't think we did. I don't think our gradient's quite strong enough, actually. I'm going to go back in Photoshop and make that gradient on darken. I think if it's on darken, it'll look a little bit of a stronger gradient. So we'll see how that looks. Raindrops. That's clever, very clever. Meti's going to make a scientist now when they get to the 1K, and yes, you'll get there. Remember, no rush, guys. In terms of community characters, there won't be shutting down. I won't be closing the submission, so there's no rush or feeling like, oh my god, I've got to hurry up and get the, you know. This is the community character thing will be an ongoing thing. People will be allowed to keep submitting to throughout the course of the development, even when we develop in episode 2 and 3, because I don't want to sort of close that. If we ever did feel like we was getting loads of characters, I just raise the raindrop requirement over closing them. I feel that's probably better. Yay. We have made a slight change to how the character submissions are going to be happening. Just a very slight thing regarding the NPCs, because we used to have major and minor. We had 3 forms. We had playable character, major NPC, a minor NPC. Well, there's only going to be 2, playable character and NPC from now on. We're merging the major and minor into one. And we're going to just see them as NPCs equally. We're not going to think those ones are major and those ones are minor. They're NPCs that could, you know. And I think that's just easier. But we are categorising those NPCs in type. So, you know, we'll have nobles, we'll have citizens, we'll have drifters, we'll have leaders, you know, like, give them some kind of type to be assigned into, so that we don't just have this list of NPCs with nothing to identify them. I think it's better like that. I think as we get more characters, it'll be easier to keep up with as well. So yay. How's that looking? Let's just have a look in Tile, because it updates it automatically. As soon as you save the tile set in Photoshop again, it literally just updates it. So I'm just zooming in to see. I want it to look the same as how this looks, really. It looks a bit more black than brown in my opinion, just a touch. So I'm gonna do, I mean, I can just change the blending mode to get that sort of look, but tends to screw with the way the gradient looks. So I'm gonna colorize it instead. I don't even know. I don't think that's done it right. Yeah, the gradient thing's going to take a bit of experimenting. I think for now I'm going to leave it as it is, because it's something I'm going to fuss over. And I'm just going to get the cliffs in for now as they are. Because as soon as you do this bit, the sort of darkened edges, should I say, it just gives so much more to the cliff. It's pretty crazy, actually. Let me just... I've got Photoshop up still again. I need to put Photoshop and TileD together on my stream sources to make life easier for myself. Ooh, RPG, hi, Gaki, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's good to meet you. We love RPGs here. We are nerds for it, and we're making one. I I'm making it and you guys help me out, give me some cool ideas, shape the story with me and stuff. So it's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's good to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, welcome. Okay, guys, I'm going to put another trivia question in chat. I did give you a bit of warning, so get ready for it because the question's going in any moment. Yeah, I don't think that's meant to be a corner. I think an edge bit goes there like that. I think that's how that's done, but I'm not going to fill that in yet because I'll get confused if I just put some random ones there now. One thing at a time. Okay, guys, so exclamation mark trivia. Which fruit wears a monocle? I really need to add more questions though, so we can make sure we get different ones coming up each time. Plum, a Van got it, just pit Rex to it. EG Van sneaking in there. Okay. You're all so quick. I think like giving you guys like a few minute warning might help, because I'd feel a bit cruel if I was like, hey, trivia, command, and then that's it. I like kind of getting you guys like sort of psyched up for it, so we'll continue doing that. We'll limit it to like 2 or 3 a stream, but I'll always like give a bit of warning. Looked up from work and said trivia really well. So points Van Delia 1. And if anyone wants to see the current leaderboard and how it's looking, just feel free to do the leaderboard command. We had 2 questions today. Gretch got the first one and Van's got the second. So that's who our points have gone to today. But the leaderboard, nobody's running away with it too much at the moment, I don't think. Still very much open for a winner at this point, because we're not counting July because it's been too short. We've only been doing the trivia for a week, so we're not going to count this month. We're going to let the stats for July carry on to August, and then we'll see who the law master is at the end of August, and then the leaderboard will reset from September. Is it possible to put one title and mirror? Is it needed new title? I'm not sure what you mean, Zed, actually. I'm a little bit confused by your question, so feel free to clarify for me, but welcome. Where is Mr. Radio? He should be telling me to get back to work. LOL. Yeah, he might be busy himself, because Radio's a work lurks too, and I love you do. It feels like most of my stream is work lurkers, so you know, a lot of it's going to be just if you're lucky enough to be here when there's a question, a trivia, because it's going to be random. I'm not setting times. It's either some will be at the start of stream, some will be in the middle, some will be at the end. It's whenever it feels like a good moment. So it's all going to be whoever's just lucky to be hanging out with us when we do it. But I feel like, you know, in a month, I think everybody's had a fair opportunity in a month's worth of streams to get to have a go. Perhaps they mean tile and not title. Oh yeah, I think you're right, Diver. I think that's probably what Z8 does mean, actually. Yeah, mirror it. The way things are, the way it's all done, you can't mirror it. I don't think that's a function. I mean, there is a flip horizontally thing function here, but I don't think that. Let's have a look. I'm actually curious myself now, so let's look. Oh, that's very interesting. I was thinking, would that do the job? I thought that would flip the whole layer, but it actually flips the tile. Because RPG Maker Editor, let me just clarify here, RPG Maker Editor doesn't let you do this. You know, you have to like make sure the tile set has it in every position. But it seems that this little program does. Like, let's just show it off. So that's very handy to know. I mean, sometimes, let me just say something. I'm not going to get carried away with this knowledge, because sometimes I do like the opposite tile to look a bit different to the one that, because if we have a look at the in Photoshop, I'll just show you what I mean here, guys. And this is something super interesting, in my opinion. These two tiles, these two corners do not look the same. As much as you might think they do, they don't. This one here is thinner than this one. The one on the left is thinner than the one on the right. And I feel like that creates a very natural look, having them look a bit different. The problem is when you might flip the same tile, you're risking your forest and cliffs looking a bit samey. And not a man-made rather than naturally formed. And I think, so I'm not going to get carried away with that, knowing that feature, because in my opinion I'd still like to do it the way I'm doing it, because it gives that more natural look. Because I think you got to be careful with symmetry when it comes to forests, haven't you? Who's in agreement with me here? Forests are never symmetrical. So I think I definitely am a fan of that look, where the cliffs look a bit different rather than symmetrical. Yeah, you might be able to create interesting shapes. So, you know, it all depends on what it is you're doing. Like, if you're doing a building or something man-made, then the symmetry thing works totally fine. Yeah, in terms of memory, as far as I'm aware, tile sets take up a lot less than Parallax Maps. So I feel like we're winning in terms of memory by switching from Parallax Mapping to tile sets anyway. But I'll only know for sure in regards to how the map is and how it plays when it's done and complete, and if it runs smoothly then. But yes, it's good to know. Interesting. Makes the software even more badass than it was before. So, but yeah, even with that, like you doing that little circle there, you can see the repeated pattern in the fact. You know, so it just depends whether you want to have it to look symmetrical or not. Asymmetry is best, yes. So yeah, it's whether you want to sacrifice. It's whether you want to sacrifice the natural look, the naturally formed look with and over less memory, I guess. But I'm not very, I'll admit, I'm very not knowledgeable about the technical side when it comes to memory. So, and I'm not like up to scratch fully on how this program does turn this file workable as a tile set in RPG Maker. It's all very new to me. So yes, but I have tried running this map. I've test played it while it's empty and it runs fine. Whether it does when there's stuff in it is another thing, but we'll only know when we test it. We'll see, won't we? It's all a learning experience. Okay guys, so oh my goodness, look at the time. Right guys, so yeah, no worries. I'm trying my best to understand Z8, and I appreciate the input. I mean, I've learned something new, so I very much appreciate that. But we'll see. I mean, every tool and way of doing things has its pros and cons. But I only started using this program, TileD, yesterday afternoon, so I'm still very new to it. And I'm sure it's got some really cool things about it. Okay, guys, so who wants to come over for a raid? I'm just looking now who's online for us, exclamation mark raid. Yeah, and I apologise, Z8, if I've not understood something you've said, by the way. But I hope I have. English isn't my natural language. Yeah, well, I appreciate you trying your best to communicate with us. And thanks for the tips. Okay, guys, so thanks for hanging out today. I'd like to go to Gretch again, guys. I think she super appreciates our raids when we give them to her. And I always like to raid someone who appreciates our raids. So let's go over and say hi. I'm going to have to get up Twitch again because I don't have it up because I crossed it off. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome, Calamity. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Dave, Kung, Calamity Rex, Z8, and Van, and have I missed anyone else out? Kung was here as well, and Met. Thanks, guys, for hanging out today. And we'll be carrying on Friday with what we're doing. I think we'll carry on. I've done a bit more by then, though. I'm planning on getting a bit more of the mapping done by Friday, so I'll hopefully have something exciting to show you guys a little bit more, so it's not just grass and cliff everywhere. I'll have a little bit more. Be nice to be working on some of the more finer details on Friday's stream, but I'm not going to put pressure on. I'm expecting to be doing this for at least a week, but we'll see. Always enjoy watching. Yeah, I enjoy you guys hanging out with me. So raid Gretch Star, she's playing Final Fantasy IX today again on a Final Fantasy journey, and let's see where she is in it. So take care, guys. Thanks for coming along with the raid with me, and I'll see you all on Friday. Have a good week. You're the best.